So Fluent Cart recently released an update, and one of the key new features to be added to this is something a lot of people have been asking for. That's the ability to kind of edit and update the design of the checkout page. Let's take a look at how it works, some of the options that we have available, and I'll give you my feedback at the end. So I've got a plain old Gutenberg page here, and we're going to use the new shortcode, which gives us access to inserting the checkout page. So we'll do /checkout, and you can see there's our checkout page. Click to insert it. We now have a checkout page inserted. Let's open up the options on the left-hand side to see exactly what's going on. As you can see, things are broken down using standard Gutenberg blocks, so everything is inside here as you would expect it to be. So now what we can do is we can obviously start editing things inside here. You can see various different component pieces are individual items inside here, so you can adjust their stacking order and so on. Now at this point, you're not going to get complete and utter control, as in you can enable and disable various different fields inside here. You can still control that from inside the settings for your store under the checkout fields. You can see the options here to enable and disable, set them as required, and so on is here. It would be nice to see these in both places so we could easily enable and disable inside the editor and not have to kind of round trip here to the dashboard itself. But it's not the end of the world. It is there should you want to make those changes and enable those various different options. So for example, agree to terms and conditions, set it to be required, pop in your terms and conditions. You get the idea how this works. Save that. Let's jump back into the editor. So now if you want to make changes inside here, you absolutely can do. Let's say you want to flip these around, the left and right hand columns. Well, you can simply drag and drop to reposition them as you see fit. There we go. Simple as that. If you open up your column, for example, and select it, you can come over, change the actual width value inside here, so you can specify how much is taken up, 50/50 and so on. You can come into the options then over on the right hand side. You can adjust things like your padding and your margin. So if we uncheck these, we want a bigger gap in between. We can just simply pop in some padding inside here. We now get a bit more space between our columns. You see how we can make those changes. Pretty simple and straightforward. For example, if you want to select this entire block, you can see there's our checkout name fields. Now we can come in and make changes here as well. Let's say we want to put a bit of padding and so on around here. You can do that. Change background color, for example. Let's go for this horrible color here. And you can see how we can make changes to it. Again, you can see the normal options inside here. There are some missing from you, so it'd be nice to see we get the full complement, but I'm sure there's probably reasons why that we don't want to mess up too much about what's going on inside the actual styling and control of the checkout page. Now, the same thing goes when you want to move things around. So for example, you can see you've got your total and things like that, your order bumps, where you can pop those up above if you wanted to. There's our recommended order bump, our notes and so on. Expand this out. We can adjust things inside here as well. So your footer and so on. You can see your subtotal, your taxes and everything like that. Click the option so you can see we can, if we want to, delete this from here. So if we didn't want to have the tax estimate, you can remove it. So you do get a certain level of customization inside the various different elements we have inside any of these particular blocks. So we've got a lot more control now inside here than we had previously. I think it's a great starting point. There's still room for improvement. We do have some of the styling options, but not everything. You can also obviously make changes to the overall layout. So we can specify we want the column here. You can come in and you can specify you want wide width, for example, or you want full width. You kind of get the idea of what you can do. You can set background colors, margins, padding, and so on. You can also specify whether this stacks on mobile. So you can see if we come in and switch this over to mobile view, everything stacks on top of each other as you would expect it to. If you didn't want that to happen, you could uncheck it, and now everything looks an absolute mess. But maybe you're just working with a single column layout. Well, you've got control over that inside here as well. So we've got a good starting point here. We've got more control, more flexibility of what's displayed, how we display it, how we set things out inside here. We can control what's displayed and what's not inside the settings inside Fluent Cart. So we're definitely, again, going in the right direction. We can drop in the shortcode. So that's how we can now start customizing more of what we see inside our checkout page, one of the key pages with any online store. It's a good starting point. There's still room for improvement. I would like to see better integration with bricks to give us full control inside there, so we can use bricks to build out our custom stores. Hopefully we'll see that in the coming weeks and months. Now, if you want to save yourself some money and grab the lifetime deal that is currently running on Fluent Cart, you can use the link down below in the description. Thank you very much if you do. It is an affiliate link and you do help support the channel for no cost to yourself whatsoever. However, if you don't want to do that, no hard feelings. You can jump over to fluentcart.com, grab yourself the deal and start building websites for yourself. And if you want to check out the full playlist on my Fluent Cart videos, you can check that out here. Again, link in the description down below. As always, my name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.